guys, it's Theresa here of Larkin Design, and welcome to my 2017 Project Life album. This is week 12, and today I am starting a hybrid layout. I'm in Photoshop CC, and I already have my template open that I'm working with today. You'll get a chance to look at that in a minute. I am also opening up all my photos that I want to use for this layout, just opening them all at one time, and then one at a time I will drag and drop them into the template itself. So the template that I'm working with, I just realized that I had the TIFF version open. So it is the Sahlin Studio Clean Line Templates number 1, and this is template number 2 in that collection. And so I'm just going to start dragging and dropping my photos into this template, size them down where needed, and then create the clipping masks so that they fit inside the frames. And so this is just one side of a layout today. The other side of this layout has already been created. A couple of weeks ago, I created a digital layout for Sahlin Studio, and it was for the Beginnings Project Mouse collection release. And so I've already done that one. It was a series of photos from the park that week. And then these are just the other miscellaneous photos from that week that still needed a home. And then, of course, obviously, I need to do a date card so that that week will be documented in my album. So when I'm bringing in my photos here, I'm really only worried about horizontal oriented and vertical oriented photos, so that the horizontal go in the horizontal frames and the vertically oriented photos go in the vertical frames. That's really about all I'm worried about. I do like this template because it gives you a space for one or two focal photos that can be larger, and then plenty of space for the other supporting photos. You'll notice that some of my photos, when I bring them into the template, they're sized a bit smaller than the frame. And so I'll show you what I'm going to do with those here in a little while. That's one of them, that photo of us with the wine glasses. So I'll show you in a little while what I'm going to do with those. There's 2 of them actually. And I've been doing this the last couple of weeks as well, so you probably already know. But anyway, so some of the photos that are going on here are, let's see, there's a lunch date that Alan and I had, and we ate out on the patio, and it's always my favorite time of the year when we can eat out on the patio. We were eating at one of our local restaurants. And so there's a couple of photos from that, and then there's also Natalie got sick that week. She was the next one to have the flu, so I took a picture of her taking her temperature. I was impressed this time that she was sick. She learned how to take her own temperature, and so she's a big girl, but she still looks really small in that picture. So anyway, that was a good way to capture that. And then there's also our Sunday afternoon game of Dungeons and Dragons, and that's the main photo for this side of the layout. I will show you the whole layout next to its companion in the album. I'll show that to you at the end of the video. And it'll also be on my blog, so you'll get a chance to see what it looks like once it's finished and in the album. Once I have all the photos in place, I have one 4x6 spot for the week card, and then I have 3 3x4 spaces for journaling cards and a filler card. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring those in here just dragging and dropping and then creating the clipping masks. This portion of the layout took about 30 minutes to create, and so that's not too bad for creating a layout and printing. That's not bad at all. And then I brought this one. I love this card. The angles on this card and the color are really make me happy. And then I decided to move it. So I'm going to put it in the upper right hand corner. And then I'm going to use this coral colored card as a journaling spot. And I'm going to alter that text block just a little bit to fit that card. So how you do that is just sort of position where you want that text and then click inside your box. And when you click inside your box and you're in the text menu, right, click on the T for text, then you can move that rectangle and your text will align with your box. So I did that, and then I'm typing in all of the journaling that I want to write here. And once I get it typed in, it's a little bit bigger than I had space for, and so I highlighted it all. You'll see that in a minute. I'll highlight it all, and I will bump it down to 11 point. Right now it's at 12 point. So that's how you can maneuver your text box to work in the space that you need it to work in. Now you could draw a shape, and you could make the shape go around those quotation marks, but they were pretty rectangular anyway, so I just spaced forward a few spaces to make it indent a little bit. Just keep it simple, you know. So that is my journaling for that card, and then I have a little title work here, just talking about our weekly Sunday game of Dungeons and Dragons, and then let's see what comes next. Okay, so these photos that I have that are just slightly smaller than the frames that I have space for, right? It's the one in the upper left hand corner, and the one in the lower left hand corner. And so I'm going to leave those photos smaller than the frame, and then I'm going to fill the frame with a pattern paper. And when I do that and you bring in the pattern paper, you can leave it full scale at 12 by 12, or I like to size it down just a little bit. I size it down to 6 by 6 just so that the scale matches the scale of the frame better. I'm also going to add a little bit of a drop shadow to some of these white cards. It ended up not being very noticeable at all, but that's fine. I like to have just a little tiny bit of a boundary around those white cards when it's on a white background. And I am leaving the background white for this layout today. I'm saving it. That's actually the first time I had saved it. Whoops. And then I'm going back, and I realized that I wanted to do the same thing with this photo on the lower left hand. So I'm going to close everything out and then bring in another pattern paper. There we go. And I really liked this one. Yep, this one. It reminds me a little bit of mermaid tails. And again, I'm going to bring it in, clip it to the mask, and then size it down just a little bit so that the scale matches a little bit better. It's interesting, I don't buy 6 by 6 paper pads, but I do like to size them down on these layouts here. So now I'm going to save the layout, in its final place, and then I'm going to send it to the printer. And so I'm just going to go through the steps here of printing it on the Canon Pixma. It is a wide format, so 13 by 19 printer, and that will be printed. I do like to use Staples brand matte photo paper. It is available at the local stores in a 13 by 19 size. So I like that because it's easily available to me. If I run out, I can just run down to the store and pick up some more. And I use that one for these layouts and for any of my digital or printable elements or hybrid elements that I'm printing out. And so once I get that situated on the page, it's going to print out, and then we'll switch over to my worktop, and I'm going to cut out the layout, and then we'll start adding some embellishments here. I do like to use my straight edge and my X-Acto knife, and I like using this little gridded cutting mat because then I can line up my straight edges. And I noticed that the layout did print out a little bit big on the page, so I'll probably end up, when I'm ready to put it in the page protector, I'll end up trimming a little bit more off the edges for the width, so that it will fit in the pocket. The 13 by 19 sheets don't quite fit in my Fiskars trimmer. I do have a trimmer, an EK Success trimmer, that will fit a 15-inch wide sheet, but it's not immediately on my worktop, so it's not as available to me. So I just do it this way. I think I like showing you guys that part of the process because it is something that I do, and it is something that takes a little bit of time for me. So I think I can't remember exactly how much time this portion took. The total time was just about an hour to do the whole layout from start to finish. So that's a pretty average time for me. I don't like to spend much more than an hour on a layout, just because there's so much to do. Alright, and so now I'm just going to start the embellishing process. I did print and cut some of the digital elements from the Viewpoints kit, and I totally forgot to tell you what kit I'm working with. This is the Sahlin Studio Viewpoints kit. It's the June featured collection on the Sahlin Studio blog, so I'll link down below to that. And so I've laid out sort of tentatively how I want to use those elements, and then I'm going to work on my date card. So you saw me check out the calendar. This is March 19 to 25, and it's week 12. So I'm going to do March 19 to 25 using these alphabets from Studio Calico. And then I went and grabbed, these are the Maggie Holmes foam alphabets. I forget which of her collections that one was from, but it is a favorite. There are two different sizes of alphabets here. I'm going to use the larger size, and then look, you guys, there's a line here. There's a line stamp. This is a stamp from the Gossamer Blue May Life Pages kit, and it's arrows in a line, and they form a line. I'm not going to journal on it. I'm just going to use it to divide the week number and the date. And so that's how I'm going to create my date card here. I love this. I love how graphic this is. I'm just looking for something to create the dash with between the 19 and 25. And so there's a little tiny, tiny star on those wood stickers, or those wood pieces. Those are from the Gossamer Blue Life Pages kit as well from May. And those are just sitting on my desk. All of my May kits are sitting on my desk in my tray, and I just reach for them as I'm doing layouts throughout the month until the next kits come in. So there we go, and that way it helps me use things up better. There, so I use that little tiny star there, and you can see the week 12. I put that on a little acetate piece. It's not actually adhered down yet. I just wanted to make sure that I had everything in place the way that I wanted them to be before I put that down. This is the Hero Arts ombre ink pad, and so I'm just going to try it out and see how it does on that line. And it actually was really cute. So now I can put the week 12 down. And I definitely loved repeating these corals and oranges that are in the collection. I liked repeating those around the page, and also that green. That bears repeating too. And so once the date card is done, I'm going to move on here, and I want to use this happy stamp underneath the photo of me. I don't know, I was just getting dressed one morning, and that's how that photo came about. There's also a photo, you see the one of Alan's hand, and he had laid his head down on my lap and flung his hand over his shoulder like that, and it was just an interesting perspective. He was just resting for a minute. I thought that was kind of cool. And of course it ties in with the theme of the collection, the Viewpoint collection. These are some of the other just chipboard and cardstock stickers from my kits as well. You saw some from Studio Calico and Gossamer Blue. This is a washi tape right there, the one that I used on Natalie's photo. That is from the Gossamer Blue Traveler's Notebook kit. Just use a little tiny bit of that. And then the digital elements in the kit, they had those little triangles. Those were so cute. I love them. So I just printed those and cut them and used them just like the other elements. And then I really liked this camera lens. So I thought it went really perfect on top of that geometric card. And then I'm going to add a little wooden heart on top of it as well. The only thing I have left to do here is a little bit of journaling here in this journaling card up top. I don't think that my stamp was very nice to my stamp pad here, but that's okay. Just keep going, right? Just keep going. It's fine. There was a lot more ink left on that stamp than I had thought, but anyway, I'm just writing a little sentence here or two about practicing self-care this month, and then this layout is going to be completed, so I'm going to wrap everything up. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys will like and comment and subscribe, and I'll see you back here again soon. Thanks again. Bye bye.